This game, Arise, Draven, Aatrox taken off the table. No Yuumi as of yet, but Draven 2 for 2. But of course, it is the players that have excelled on that champion.
Yeah, it's all the Draven mains. It's actually really interesting how in the LEC we have like 4 or 5 players that just love the Draven, even though it's not a super popular pick around the world. But it goes to show that here in the LEC, it's all about early game and lane dominant pressure. That's what makes this region so exciting because it gets very explosive very early on.
Cat in a hat, cat in a book, cat in the hat. Come on, don't ban Yuumi. Don't ban Yuumi. I really want to cast a Yuumi game. Vitality have 1 ban remaining. Silas was the final ban from Origen. Vitality in the last few seconds. I mean, maybe they're discussing it as well. Maybe we'll find out on mic check. Ah!
Come on.
I really want to see Yuumi here in Europe. She is banned away. And that means now first pick to Origen.
Yeah, and ooh, instantly going for the Sejuani. All right, this is a more control style jungler here for Kold that he's going to be picking up.
And what I've seen when Sejuani's been locked in other regions, the likes of Camille mid lane is
I knew you were going to go there.
In priority because we discussed it. What would need to happen to lock Camille in if that happens?
Well, it's an interesting one because the Camille is all about controlling the river when you pair it up alongside a Sejuani. So I'm not sure. It really just depends if it's something that Origen have practiced and if it is something that they want to do. But I like this even more. At the end of the spring split, we saw Sona Taric in Rotterdam come into play. We never saw it split up, I don't think, and Origen are going to be the first team to do so as they lock it in alongside Tahm Kench.
I have seen a Sona Tahm Kench played over in the LCK just a couple days ago. It's going to be Sivir paired with Taric, and neither of the solo laners are locked in here yet. I actually think that Sona Sona TK game also had a Camille mid, if I recall correctly, but I would need to double check that. Let's take a look at the bans and talk about those solo lanes because they both need to be locked in for both sides.
Yeah, I think what Vitality need to be aiming for here is a very flexible option with their 4th pick right now, because if you do that on red side, you can, in theory, get 2 counter picks. You have the option once you see what Origen want to bring to the table to match up against that, and they're going to try and take away some of the very lane oppressive options at the moment, both sides actually, with the Nico as well as the Renekton being moved away.
While we've got some time, tell me what Sona Tahm Kench is going to do different to Sona Taric, because I think we know Sona Taric, but this is different.
Yeah, it is. The idea here really comes down between these 2 supports, where Taric is a level 6 type of champion that wants to use his ultimate as a delayed, very powerful team-wide defensive tool, whereas Tahm Kench with his W can come online a little bit earlier for those defensive properties and try to, pull Sona out of bad situations, but it will not have the same team fight presence as a Taric will.
Got it. Earlier activation, slightly less bigger 5v5 power, so you're just trading power in different locations.
Yeah, you also have the Tongue Lash too, so a lot of times we saw with the Taric, he would be farming in that lane because Sona would be going for the Kleptomancy and the Spell Thieves as well. So Tahm Kench rather can do sort of a similar thing with his Tongue Lash.
All right, let's see how this works out. Of course, denying the Tahm Kench from Jactroll. Not that he would have played it with Taric locked in. Taric, I'll switch to Taric. Gangplank is going to be the final ban now, and Attila will need to lock in 1 champion for one of his solo lanes. We're anticipating that Olaf to go in Mowgli's hands. Once again, fits his playstyle as well as that of Vitality's. And they've got themselves some insurance in Sivir if the game decides to go late. Jayce found himself in the ban pool in game 1, and it's secured here, most likely for Cabo in the top lane.
Yeah, very interesting to see Vitality go for the Jayce again. Of course, Cabochard loves this champion, but their first 3 picks seemed like they were aiming much more for a team fight style where they sort of ran in towards you. Instead, now I'm thinking the Sivir Taric should be playing a little more safely around the mid lane and setting up wave clear options, because what we expect now from Vitality is to pick a mid lane option with split pushed potential to play around those solo lanes, and you might get it.
And exactly the case. Camille locked in with Sejuani.
But how did you know?
Not surprised. If anybody has watched LCK, or that's where I definitely found it out. This is something we're seeing a lot. But now, what do they pair with it? There's still a solo laner to lock in.
I really hope they just put a top lane to mess with you.
I'll be really disappointed. but we also saw Camille Fiora. That was a thing that we've seen a couple times. And if it's not going to be a little bit more engaged power in the Jarvan, expect that to land up obviously in Alphari's hands. There's a lot of go, go, go a lot of team fight and AoE to back it up.
Oh, absolutely. You've got a lot of circles or hexagons with the Camille as well, a giant rectangle too with Sona ult, so you have all the AoE to start off fights, and you have, you know, that snap ability to try and catch people out before the Taric ult can come down and protect you. I think that Vitality see maybe they need some answers to this hard engage 5v5 because the Azir with his Emperor's Divide has very strong self-peeling options to try and thwart that initial engage.
But is it too slow? The amount of time I think in my mind I see Jarvan and Camille coming online versus the likes of an Azir, I have a little bit of fear in that matchup. So let's look at the team comps holistically and step back. What's your take?
These are pretty wild here. Over on the side of Origen, I mean, the obvious, you know, thing to point out is the Camille in the mid lane, but you see you have heavy team fight options. I think scaling into a side lane, Camille has very strong options as well, but you know, you see so many melee champions next to a Sejuani, that means very strong early game ganking abilities. Whereas with Vitality, you see two very strong early game champions towards the top side of the map. We should expect to see Mowgli play through Cabochard and get him ahead.
All right, to unlock Cabo, he can unlock the Azir and the Sivir, and that's how you can unlock the win. It all sounds so easy when you put it that way, Ender. It all sounds so easy. This is a very different type of team composition to what I was anticipating from Vitality. And we see both Andre and Yamato Cannon giving each other a hug as they are meeting for the first time in the Rift here in summer.
This is going to be a good one. I'm really excited to see how these two teams clash here, especially with the Camille in the mid lane. I was wondering, is this just an LCK thing or will it be brought out here? Well, seems like Origen have been doing their homework and they came in prepared.
I want to see the results of Vitality's boot camp over in China alongside RNG. And the finalist from the spring split, Origen. What can they bring to the table with a very LCK flavored draft? It's Origen taking on Vitality. Thank you, Berlin, Germany. Every time we go into game, you guys give me a lot of volume and love, and it is very appreciated. And as soon as we're onto the Rift, Vitality are already heavily invading. They've moved 4 members all the way forward into the blue buff, but now they're split up. Nukeduck and Kold. Didn't quite see if they spot him on the way out.
Yeah, this is something you'll see a lot with Olaf paired alongside a very strong top lane champion. You try to split the map early on and invoke vertical jungling. That's why you see this deep ward. But Origen, maybe they want to try to do something against it. It is very difficult though, because Olaf at level 1 can reset his axes and duel just about anyone.
Yeah. And that just makes it very difficult to win any of those fights, especially when you've got 2 supports at level 1. While they can
Look what
be
they're
powerful,
doing, though. They're actually sitting their AD and support in mid lane for so long. They have teleport on Sona. They're really trying to force him away.
All right, so really defending their jungle. Do you like this decision-making? And of course, the cost is Attila is left alone in lane. He's going to get a couple autos and start shoving.
But here's the thing. You're not actually losing anything because the lane should push into you. But look at this. This play from Attila is actually really smart, I think. Okay, maybe he's going to turn it around. But we used to see back in the day when lane swaps were popular, you would walk forward and try to pull the minion wave in towards the bush. And what this would do is you would get the minions on the enemy side to bunch up and focus fire your front line and push back into you. That's what I thought he was going to do. Instead, they end up just pushing it out and trying to put some more pressure down.
I also anticipated Patrik and Mithy be a little slower to the bot lane, so actually they haven't missed any of the experience, and they're going to start farming up. Just one of those CS has been missed for now. Sona Tahm Kench, while it is a slightly different flavor to Sona Taric, we've seen the Relic Shield. We anticipate Mithy to start picking up some of those CS using the charge as early as possible, but what's the tempo of this duo and when we expect them to start turning around the aggression?
Look, it's going to be very slow for a long time, but not with Mowgli. He saw Kold pathing down towards the bottom side. I want to get our eyes back on him because he's forcing Kold away from the red buff. Both junglers do have smite, and both bot lanes are coming, but look, Jactroll and Attila have hit level 2. Mithy and Patrik have not done that.
No, definitely not. So that small advantage in pushing the wave maybe does give them that temporary advantage. By the way, Kold's pretty low. He's going to get the smite onto the Krug. So now Mowgli's coming in. Undertow's available. Big exchange at the moment, fighting inside the Krug camp. Patrick's coming back. Mowgli, what is this decision? He's going to flash over the wall. eats a power cord on the way out, and that was absolutely not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Mowgli's decision-making for a while there, and then as soon as he goes in towards the Krug camp and sees Kold get that, you just gotta leave, man, because there's nothing else left for you there. Mithy and Patrik had hit level 2, the mid lane wasn't being pushed in as hard, so ends up forcing away his flash and will cost him later on.
Yeah, it really did. As we flash to the top lane, Cabochard goes into hammer form, jumps to the skies, puts the hammer down on Alphari and shoves him in. Small CS advantage as Alphari is catching a very large minion wave underneath his tower. And as it stands, even start, but it was Vitality making the first proactive moves, and again Cabo stepping forward, popping the Scryer's Bloom and just getting some additional vision.
Yeah, you know, Cabochard does have priority in this lane, but he went for a very interesting rune choice. Now, I was trying to check and see, are people taking Unsealed Spellbook on Jayce? I really haven't been able to. You know, there's a lot of Kleptomancy, Summon Area in the top lane if you want to harass against some of these melee matchups, as Mowgli forces Kold away and will get that Scuttle Crab, but this is either a mistake from him or a very different idea, and what the Spellbook would allow you to do is switch over to something like an Ignite if you do want to have kill pressure around certain thresholds. So if Mowgli did want to set up for a gank in the next few minutes, you know, Cabochard could switch that TP over to Ignite and have a little bit more all-in performance.
I actually quite like that because Cabochard is sort of the tip of the spear when you think of Vitality. It's sort of him or Jiizuke that tends to be the defining member of their wins. So if you add that additional versatility to arguably your best player, and then on a champion that can define the early to mid game, you know, it can work, assuming that was the reasons for it. As we catch comes down bottom, Mithy and Patrik being shoved in.
Yeah, they are, and this is what you expect in the matchup with Sivir just pushing in and Patrik just trying to pick up as much Kleptomancy procs as he possibly can. Now, I do think it's worth bringing up the mid lane matchup because we talked a little bit in Champ Select about this Camille in the mid lane, but not actually in this game. And what you'll see a lot from Camille is pre-first base, you get pushed in, especially by any sort of ranged champion like this Azir. That would happen. As soon as that first base comes in, especially once you get the Tiamat, you can all of a sudden start pushing in this mid lane. And why Camille has such a high impact in games as a mid laner is because her early game scrapping and skirmishing is very powerful. It means you have a very high ability to find these 2v2s and control the river and try to fight for crabs.
Oh, Mowgli's got no flash, remember. He's going to get jumped on. He's going to get caught. Yes, you got the scuttle earlier, but that is not a safe space to recall.
And what did I say? You can't control the river against a Sejuani plus a Camille. It's absolutely deadly. Now Jiizuke has to dash away because he knows Nukeduck and Kold are both in the area. And what we're going to continue to see from this duo is Kold to play very close to the mid lane to allow Nukeduck to apply pressure and push out. And then once level 6s come in, you see a Sejuani or a Camille appear on your screen and you're by yourself, you will instantly die if you're on Vitality.
Just think of all the mobility they've got in the kit, all the hard CC, and then the damage to follow it up.
Yeah, and to be clear, like this Camille does fall behind in CS early on, but it is the price you're willing to pay for that level 6 point when you can really try to find fights and snowball your advantage.
Yeah, it's a calculated loss because you totally understand, like we mentioned, those little exchanges in the river. So Jiizuke now will have Mowgli pop up behind him, and he has built up a 17 CS lead. Nukeduck could be able to farm himself under the tower now. But Origen, as it stands, they were gifted that kill. They were gifted the flash from Mowgli earlier. And despite Mowgli power farming, I have to question the decision making.
Yeah, the early invade was an unfortunate one, I think, for Vitality, especially because you expect Mowgli to play aggressive, and it was such a good play for him at the start, but, you know, we said the flash was going to cost him. It did end up doing that in the end, and you see he still does have a lead up against Kold. You know, the gold maybe not going to say that entirely because of the first blood that did go Kold's way, but he still is able to apply pressure and invade, especially on the top side. He'll always be able to pressure top side because of how strong Cabochard is in these fights. See here, the tracking on towards Mowgli. Oh, he's just recalling there. Kold sees him, and you actually had Nukeduck trying to recall as well. This is just a greedy recall from Mowgli.
The Nukeduck recall maybe is what set it off. I think if there had been some comms to say Nukeduck is backed, he's recalling, that instead is a little overconfident. But seeing those level of plays, Nukeduck, by the way, stepping way, way forward, takes a lot of damage. He realizes Jiizuke has no mana, so there's no possible turnaround. And of course, Kold is waiting in the wings.
So Nukeduck is really greeting to try and get his Tiamat finished. He has 1,100 gold at the moment. He needs 1,325, and he's not going to get it.
No, not yet. The undertows come out. Jiizuke being so low on mana. Yes, Nukeduck was greeting, but there was a calculated amount because Jiizuke would have needed multiple autos to get the kill.
Exactly, but he needed the whole wave in order to finish off that Tiamat. Now that's going to make it more difficult for him to push out the lane and to be able to apply pressure alongside Kold.
Is a 30 CS deficit too much? That is the lead that Jiizuke has accrued for himself right now. And you can see it starting to show in those items, as you mentioned, the thrift shopping on that Tiamat, and nearly 400 gold the difference.
I think that at this moment, it is too much, just because Nukeduck did not get that Tiamat, as we see bot lane.
All right, see what happens. Patrik doesn't have access to the crescendo. Mithy's trying to get the Devour down. There's a gobble, gobble, gobble. Flash away from Attila. Jactroll is going to be in trouble. The Cosmic Radiance comes down. That's a little bit of a damage mitigation. But here comes Mowgli. He's Ragnarocking and Ragnarolling. Your Mithy jumps on a Jactroll. So far, it's the first kill for Vitality. Patrik and Mithy running for their lives. That's a defensive flash. Jactroll's very, very low, and the heals from Patrik are doing work.
Yeah, Patrik has heals, but he doesn't have the damage to try and turn it around. Origen tried to throw everything towards this duo of Vitality, but Mowgli was waiting. Now he gets chunked.
Oh, he does indeed. A couple orders from Attila, as well as that undertow. Not going to be enough to pick up the kill, and Patrik getting close to crescendo. Jactroll and Mowgli going back away. Vitality on the board of the kill.
Yep, they're able to respond right there. Mowgli is all of a sudden back in the game, using this Olaf to flash and pick up his axes to continue the fight on towards Kold right there. See Patrik actually really trying to step up and cancel that recall, but he's not going to find any luck.
And of course, it's important to note that the effective gold in the duos is in the advantage of Origen. You can see those CS numbers. When you add both of them together, it's around plus 500 gold to Origen, and this is how the exchange started.
Yeah, so Attila steps very far forward and gets hit by the tongue lash. This means Origen are going to call in the play, but watch when the Cosmic Radiance comes down here from Taric. It's enough so that when he flashes away, he can't avoid it. Now mid!
Oh, there's the exchange. Jiizuke's already used the Emperor's Divide, and with the help of Cabochard, that's the second kill for Vitality. They take the lead as far as gold is concerned. Kold is pushed away, and we didn't see the setup.
It's the MVP of Vitality, Cabochard, using that pressure and translating it to something else around the map. You can see he's not smashing his 1v1 matchup. It's a 5 CS lead, and he's sacrificing that so he can move down and get Jiizuke ahead.
Man, it's such a unique game to cast because at 10 minutes, Vitality have turned this small mistakes from Mowgli around. They're up 1,000 gold. CS advantage is gigantic for Jiizuke in the mid lane. But technically, Patrik and Mithy, with their duo and their double support items, they're actually ahead in gold. And we're going to see that kill in the mid lane. I mean, Nukeduck, he just went for the exchange and got shoved back.
Yeah, Cabochard was on the way. You see 3 control wards lining that river so that Cabochard can make that move down without being seen by anyone. I mean, Nukeduck probably thought he was just going for a reset, did not expect this Jayce just suddenly show up in the mid lane. Jayce, of all people, has no CC, no hard CC really on that kit to try and set up for that gank, but he made it work.
Well, this is a good position if you are Vitality. Getting your sort of late game carry of Azir into a very comfortable position, despite the fact that Attila and Jactroll did, struggle a little bit as far as the early stages. They're falling behind in gold, as I mentioned. 97 CS, starting to work towards those first items. Attila's going to be very confident and comfortable moving into the team fight phase, which is where Vitality can be a terrifying beast if any of those skirmishes and fights break out.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when we talk team fights, usually with Sona Taric in the game, they're on the same team, and you always give it to the Sona Taric because they can't die. Sona has all the time in the world to give off heals, but I don't think the same is true when you're paired with a Tahm Kench necessarily. You don't have that extra duration of the Cosmic Radiance to fight. Now Mowgli wants in.
He does indeed get so much damage onto Alphari. 2-level difference, but just wrecking him with those reckless swings.
Yeah, and the best part is he's up there while Cabochard is under tower going for the recall. So you can see Vitality very aggressive as individual players.
Oh man, Cosmic Radiance used here defensively. Patrik and Mithy once again chasing all the way forward. There is some support from Nukeduck coming down, and Jactroll is flashless, and he will get taken out. The kill, is it going to get saved? No, donate it to Patrik. Very easy 2v2. And all the training against Uzi does not seem to have helped just yet.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing here for Vitality. It is, again, their bottom lane that plagues them in that 2v2. After getting put ahead from a counter gank by Mowgli, they just go down and die, not having the flashes, not being able to survive. Fortunately for them, Vitality do always play towards topside, so Mowgli is able to respond with a Herald.
It's going to be so interesting to see how the mid game plays out. If this Sona Tahm Kench advantage will be enough to mitigate the Jayce Azir advantage that's been set up.
So what actually happens here? Oh, it's just a crescendo, stopping the stun from landing by Jactroll, and even though he does get down the Cosmic Radiance, he's still CC'd, he's still eaten, so he's not able to actually escape during the duration of that ult.
Man, it's insane. Just the more time that passes, the more scary this duo becomes. While that's going on, there was a battle for the Scuttle Crab. In the Smite fight, it was Kold that ended up winning. And Jiizuke ends up using those Conquering Sands to slide away to safety. And Vitality, despite a minor gold lead, it's just, it's a shifting of power, as we've said so many times already. Top half for Vitality so far, bottom half for OG. But the one concern I did have, before the 2v2 happened, Alphari got wrecked.
Look at this play bot lane. Mithy goes in with Patrik.
Oh man, here comes Nukeduck. He's got the Hextech ultimatum. That will dodge the stun, but at what cost? Manages to get the shield up for now. There's the kill onto Attila. Just a matter of time as now Jactroll is running for his life. Alphari completed the teleport. Will get himself a couple autos. There's a Mountain Drake available. While that is being focused, Cabochard takes the first tower. So they're trading kills for map objectives. Patrik and Mithy will defend mid.
Yeah, this is what we expected from these two teams. Vitality putting all their resources in towards Cabochard in the top lane, while OG go mid.
Wow, there's Jiizuke running a little bit low on mana. He's got himself a few Sand Soldiers to work with. Can he send them forward? Defensive flash from Patrik, and Cabochard can't really find the shots to make it work. Cabo's teleports on TP as well. I didn't see if he TP'd him behind the tower, but it's starting to get very scrappy and fights multiple sides of the map, multiple objectives.
Yeah, Kold gonna go ahead and pick up the Mountain Drake. And while that engagement was going down in towards the mid lane, I think all in all, it was very good set play there from Origen to use that Abyssal Voyage to come in from behind here. And you can see it wasn't actually Mithy and Patrik, it was Mithy plus Kold. So it's the hard CC of the Sejuani. Jactroll and Attila run face first in towards the Camille, who uses her ultimatum to dodge the CC from the Taric. That means once that goes down, there's nothing they can do to try and battle back against 5 members of OG jumping on 2.
Yeah, definitely not going to work out in their favor, and that means OG, they're 4 kills up. They've got a Mountain Drake under their name right now and continuing to push. I mean, this Camille, now you're starting to see the strengths. Fallen behind, I was starting to get nervous. 40 CS deficit, which is still just about on the cards, is still a scary, sight. But the impact in those smaller skirmishes when backed up by Sona and Tahm Kench is really, really powerful.
Yeah, the thing I am a little concerned about for Origen is that they don't have much range when it comes to their team fight damage later on. They have a Sona, and that's just about it. So I think mid-game fights are where they really want to try and play explosively and use this hard engage to find, split fights and maybe single out some individual members. But the later we go into this game, the more worried I think for them.
All right, let's see if it's going to be more worrying for Origen or not. Mowgli's going to get caught by the tongue lash, uses the ultimate to try to escape. Teleport starting to be channeled. Jiizuke should be arriving shortly. Emperor's Divide is just about available. Gets caught by the
Oh no!
Anything can happen. Patrik pulls the trigger, gets himself an easy kill. And OG go 5 kills up.
Jiizuke was trying to go in there for the hero play for the highlight reel, and OG just slapped him 3 times in the face and knocked him down.
The question is, how do OG win this game as they push forward?
More kills.
Another poor place on the recall, and I don't know if I should be hypercritical or just sad as Mowgli's the victim again.
At that point, he's behind his tower, he's in his jungle. Now Vitality trying to find something, but it's 3v4.
Yeah, it is 3v4. Cosmic Radiance will buy some time, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Jactroll goes golden for now. Cabochard pushes all the way forward in the hammer form. The Devour is so well timed from Mithy. That keeps Patrik alive. Cabo goes golden for a second, but it counts to golden. All of the stopwatches are being used, and when time will stop, it will be Origen that win the fight.
Vitality just cannot kill Patrik. This man is immortal. Look at him, he's got his stopwatch, he got a Tahm Kench, you can't stop him.
Patrik and Mithy are playing this duo fantastically. 3-0-3 on the Sona, and they are doing everything right.
Oh, they absolutely are, and they just need to keep pushing the pedal to the metal here. Usually you think of Origen as the more calm, calculated team. They set up for maybe a little bit later in the game. No. They decided they're going to go hard and heavy. They go for the Camille in the mid lane. Patrik now on the Sona is 3-0-3. They have all the CC. Just throw it at Vitality and try to knock them out early.
And I'm going to go back to the question. How do Origen win this game? You don't have a traditional tower pusher. Obviously, you've got the split pusher in Camille. That's one option. but it's definitely a non-standard type of comp when it comes to getting past inhibitors and then the Nexus.
Yeah, it's a combination of now, once Reno approaching the 20-minute mark, using Camille more in a side lane with their teleport, and just grouping up death balling and finding fights. You have so many key ultimates, they're going to go for another.
Well, there's your death ball example. It's going to be enough to push Jiizuke away. Abyssal Voyage used. It's not the hugest of cooldowns, but it is technically a failed engage. It's going to be just under 2 minutes before Mithy can use that one again. And I'm looking at flashes other than Mithy. There's a lot of flashless targets that are available to pick actually on both sides of the rift because of this, the constant skirmishing.
And it's way more worrisome for Vitality not to have summoners than it is for Origen to be missing them, because they have a lot of defensive tools. They're the ones that are also going to be wanting to play on the aggressive. You know, they're the ones that will, you know, trap you inside a Cataclysm. That will catch you out with their crescendo, and you won't be able to react to anything if you don't have that flash. So Vitality have to be very cautious, and I think have to put very forward vision as well to spot out the engages from Origen before it's too late.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Jiizuke, you absolutely want that to happen, right? There was an example of him teleporting down a few moments ago, getting caught by the crescendo, and just getting done. So we're getting to 20 minutes. It is still an incredibly close game. 1,000 gold separates these teams. Cabochard on this Jayce. He's got the Black Cleaver, Ghostblade completed. He's up 30 CS. Maybe he can be the pressure tool that Vitality can leverage while the recalls are completing here on the side of Origen. Nukeduck again playing very far forward. He's clawed his way back into the game. And once this game wraps up, we'll see Rogue versus Misfits.
Yeah, I think now looking at Vitality, you know, they are not down that much. It's only about 800 gold, and this is a team that I don't think likes to sit on their hands. They don't like to take things slowly necessarily, especially when a team starts to beat them just a little bit. So when we see Origen trying to group up and force 5v5s, I almost half expect Vitality to try and do the same, to try to match them, which, you know, wouldn't end up benefiting them in a game like this with a composition like this until they can get a few more items to come online. Because, you know, later on, you know, 2-3 items here on the Sivir and the Azir especially, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage from range that Origen will not be able to match.
Yeah, and I guess if the sort of wombo of Cataclysm, Hextech Ultimatum, Crescendo, if that doesn't find targets, the consistent damage from Azir, Sivir, Jayce is going to be very, very hard to deal with. Now, admittedly, every time Origen have pulled the trigger, they found the kills. So, all credit to them. This tower secured by Nukeduck will even it up at 2 towers apiece. While that was happening, Vitality secured themselves that Cloud Drake. Cabochard doing pretty well at just pushing in these waves again.
So the main benefit Origen have right now is that they win team fights and they win 1-3-1. You might say, well, Jayce is actually beating Alphari down bottom lane, and that is technically true, but because Origen have such a strong core, you know, Patrik, Mithy plus Kold, as well as that Abyssal Voyage, they can push up and then make plays.
Yeah, just like that. Initial Fissure comes out, a lot of damage, but Cosmic Radiance, once again, Jactroll's been very good with those Cosmic Radiances every single time, securing the important members, timing it correctly, not waiting to pull the trigger, but it's used defensively and running away.
Yeah, they do get Jiizuke's flash right there, and this is a very smart play from Origen, because the next thing they need to tick on the box to winning the game is knocking down this mid lane outer turret. This gives so much safety and control over Vitality's own jungle that if they can keep it up, they can really stop OG from trying to find these aggressive plays inside their half of the map.
And we have to keep an eye on the teleports, because not only do you mention unlocking the map, but there's 3 teleports currently on the side of Origen. Spellbook for Mithy, so he can pick one up if necessary. 3 currently on the side of Vitality, and Cabo sitting with a cleanse for now. Obviously, he can cycle through those summoner spells thanks to his own spellbook. But the Baron Dance has begun, and for the first time in a little while, Origen are pushing some vision into Vitality's territory, as the observers are highlighting right now. There was a line of defensive pink wards for OG on the northern quadrant of the map there by their blue buff, and they're slowly starting to etch that just a little further forward if they want to play around any of those objectives in the next few minutes.
And all Origen want to do is play around objectives and play around fights. What is causing them a little bit of uncomfort, you know, they're getting them a little discomfort, there you go, is not having this mid lane tower down. Yeah. Because again, they don't have the siege tools. You have 4 melee champions and a Sona. That's not necessarily the best when it comes to sieging. And
you can almost argue it comes down to the 40 CS advantage that Jiizuke was able to accrue. You know, he was able to farm himself up to a pretty comfortable spot. By the way, if we're looking at itemization, Patrik on this Sona has got himself the Lich Bane after Archangels, and he, with the help of Mithy, will just about take this tower down. One more power chord will do it. Here comes Vitality, defensive flash. That was greeting for the tower, but it might just be worth it. Cataclysm will get interrupted by the Emperor's Divide, but there's just not enough survivability. Jactroll's Cosmic Radiance was unavailable.
Oh, get back in here!
Jiizuke, get back here!
Patrik with the triple kill. Baron is spawned. We're just 22 minutes into the game, but it was the 5v5 around the mid lane that Origen used to blow it wide open.
Ain't nobody escaping Origen's baby cage, and after 4 kills, they turn to Baron.
Oh, it just falls apart like that for Vitality. Origen get everything. They even send Nukeduck to take a tower down in the mid lane as well. The team fight came to fruition, and they pulled it off.
And you said it 5 minutes ago, Vitality need vision to prevent the Origen engage. And unfortunately, even if they had that vision, it didn't matter. I can't wait to see the replay. I want to look at where the wards are, because OG just found their opening. They got the tower, the Baron, and a huge advantage.
Yeah, now sitting at a 6,000 gold lead as well. The Mountain Drake too to help out with the sieges. You know, this is when they really want to split up the map, because again, with 5 people, you could look for a dive. I think that might be getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but if you can send Nukeduck and Alphari to side lanes with that Baron buff, the siege should not actually be that difficult.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, Baron plus all the kills in the tower, the gold lead jumps to 5,000. I want to look at the minimap of this vision. Oh, once we get
Oh, we got a fun little camera angle to start off. See, it was actually Vitality that walked in first. You know, Jactroll flashed forward with the stun, but then you see, oh, that's Sivir. Attila tries to get into this cage. They use the wall very well, but unfortunately, it is not enough. Origen have enough damage, have the CC to chase them down and then pull them back over the wall. Jiizuke not going to be happy about that one.
I went back to check as well. Origen's pathing through the river was in between the control ward and the deep wards, so a number of Origen members just snuck up towards that mid lane tower.
Look at this!
And they got there quicker than Vitality could expect. Cabochard will go down, and Cosmic Radiance will land up to Jiizuke. Now he's in a 1v3. Crescendo catches him out. Mowgli's going to arrive. Attila's going to get teleported on top, and it is all falling apart. Vitality are trying to chase the loss, trying to turn the game around, and it is simply not happening.
Look at them go! They're not going to stop!
Simply too far. And as I was mentioning, Vitality made the call, maybe with some misinformation, and as it stands, Origen 16 kills to 3, but in the most Origen way. Look at all of the kills and assists. 12 out of 16, 13 out of 16, 10 out of 16. Every single member of OG is involved in most of their kills.
Yeah, and they're involved in all areas of the map too, because while the rest of OG is chasing down for the extra kills, Alphari TP'd into a wave that Nukeduck had prepped in the bottom lane. Before Nukeduck TP'd into that fight, then Alphari picks it up, gets that inhibitor, the rest of OG is top lane, so they're just systematically taking Vitality apart.
And Origen come back to the LEC after being crushed by G2 in the Spring Split Finals. The 2 finalist teams making very big statements to start their Summer Split campaigns. Inhibitor in the top will fall after the one in the bottom, and Origen can now start to back away. It is a different style of team comp, but it has been executed very well in the Origen camp.
Yeah, I don't think Origen want to recall. They have 1 more minute with the Baron buff. They're looking to end it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Crescendo is available. Hextech Ultimatum's a couple seconds away, and Cataclysm will be used if necessary. The tower's going to fall, but with that Lich Bane, as well as, you know, Camille just hammering away, plus Jarvan as well. These structures fall so quickly. They're not done yet, and I think we're in for the final siege.
Yeah, OG are setting up for it. They have 3 different mini waves coming in. That's the crescendo.
And there's no Cosmic Radiance. There's no get out of jail free button. Jiizuke forced to flash defensively. Hextech Ultimatum locks in members of Vitality. So far it's a 1-for-1. Taric for Camille. That is a very good trade. But the rest of OG, they take down the first Nexus turret. Jiizuke takes a chunk and he tries to turn it around.
Vitality were sustaining on the fountain, but OG were sustaining with their Sona as well, so they're going to keep it going for quite a while. Jiizuke trying to push back in there, because if Vitality were going to win a fight, that was their best chance before Origen had gotten back to base and bought. But with the last seconds of the Baron buff going away, Origen have taken all 3 inhibitors.
5,739 gold Baron power play. That is exceptionally good use of the buff. And it is just moments away from the game. And I was trying to say beforehand, the 2 teams that made finals, they are coming into Summer showing they're prepared, they are ready. and they are not messing around.
No, they're not. And if you would be as kind to direct your attention to Patrik's itemization after we see the damage dealt over the entire game, you might notice that that's a 906 Sona with a death cap, a fully stacked Seraph, you got a Lich Bane as well. Yeah, hurt.
It really does. And I mean, and again,
Attila.
Here comes Mithy
buddy.
and Kold. I mean, that's a Tahm Kench Sejuani running down Sivir. Edge Essence Reaver simply doesn't matter. Mowgli, no flash available. Woohoo! That damage! Eating the power cord.
I'm telling
from
you,
Patrik.
he hurts.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. The moment Patrik fired that spell away, turned and burned, and Mowgli drops.
I mean, Patrik's doing that much damage with just a harp. I don't even know how that happens, but look at him go.
There we go. Flash crescendo. Patrik's playing with the confidence. That is beautiful to see. 17 kills already involved out of his team's 20. Kill participation through the roof for Origen. 11 kills to Patrik as the last Nexus turret is being focused down by Alphari. Jiizuke is just toying with Origen right now. And the ace for Patrik and Origen. They take down Vitality. Extremely impressive performance from the bot lane of OG. After hearing Mithy talking in the preseason videos about refinding his energy for the split and seeing the two of them play a very unique new bottom lane. They played it so well.
Yeah, I mean, when you remember back to when they played against Fnatic and G2 back in Rotterdam, they had all the answers to the Sona Taric combination. This time, even though it wasn't a new champion necessarily, they were willing to split it up. So the practice has definitely paid off for this team, and it is not a slow start like they did in spring. They are right out of the gates.
Yeah, right at the gates, new comp, confident play. And that is, again, a strong statement. Now, let's not discount the fact that there was some questionable decisions on the side of Vitality. Mowgli, in particular in the early game. Some of the engages in the mid game trying to avoid getting, shut out. I say it's like chasing the loss. When you are losing, you want to just try to get away from it, try to push it out and force fight it and backfiring. It didn't work in that Vitality style. It's still showing through. It just didn't work today.
Yeah, and I think we saw some of the same problems from Vitality from the spring split. Bottom lane, after getting that first kill handed over to them from Mowgli, they died in the 2v2 because they didn't have their flashes up and they stepped too far forward. So there are these same issues that we were hoping were going to be fixed coming to the season, and it's clear they need some more work before they can be, the second best team in the league like they were for so much of the regular season.
I agree completely, and we just saw scenes on stage right there as Andre, the coach for Origen, just greeting several members of Vitality. Of course, he used to coach several members of Vitality, so having a chat and ushering them off stage. Vitality, not the statement, not the game they wanted to make. We got Jiizuke and Andre, as you mentioned. But all credit to Origen. This was them, this was their game, they took control. Despite having problems in the top half of the map, it literally did not matter. Despite Camille in the mid lane falling 40 CS down, they found the skirmishes they needed. They were extremely proactive, especially with Tahm Kench.
Look, what did we say? We said Alphari was a very good weak side top laner. He had a bad matchup. He didn't fall too far behind. They had a unique flair coming in with the Camille mid lane that they showed they knew how to play. Even if you fall behind in CS, you have such powerful team fight presence. And then the bottom lane, again, went as expected in favor of Origen. They came in with all those same ideas and executed.
Well, you talked about the team fights. I actually want to take a look at the one that led to the Baron for Origen. And if this one starts where I'm expecting, it's just in the mid lane. And look at the vision. OG sneaked their way through to catch them unawares.
Yeah, Vitality think that they have the chance to force this hard engage. And I think, to an extent, you have some cool ideas here. Trying to use the Emperor's Divide to buy space for the extra damage you're going to be pumping out with the Sivir and an Azir. But unfortunately, there's just too many tools that Origen are throwing at them. So they can't survive. Even if the Cosmic Radiance comes up and they're invulnerable, there's still 3 more high-impact ults that will follow it.
I absolutely love seeing Jiizuke getting bounced back because of the Hextech ultimatum, of course. He was flying over the wall and just cannot get away from it. So Origen and G2, the finalists from spring, will be playing tomorrow in our match of the week. It'll be the final game of the day. One of them goes 2-0. One of them will pick up their first loss. Key player of the game at LECsports, Nukeduck, Patrik, and Mithy. And this is really tough because kill participation was so high. They won as a team, even though individuals, did have to make some cool plays.
Yeah, you got cool champions in the mid lane. You can value that. You got tons of damage from that Sona, or you have the Mithy Tahm Kench that was flying all over the place and making some big plays.
Well, let's see exactly what Mithy and his Tahm Kench has to say as he's standing by on stage with Law.
Thank you very much, guys, and congrats, Mithy, on the first game and bringing some new spicy stuff to the bot lane. We saw Sona and Tahm Kench a few days ago in the LCK, but can you talk me through this bot lane? How do you activate it, and how risky is it to play it?
Honestly, I don't really know that much. It's just they had Taric, so we thought, let's just take the Sona away, and we just rolled from there.
Okay, so now can you tell me more about you? How was the break for you guys, and how strong can we expect Origen in Summer Split?
Went back home, and it was actually a very nice time because all of my friends had a break too. Usually that doesn't really happen. So yeah, it was nice hanging out, and then we got back to the preseason, and we've been hanging out a lot as a team. So yeah, it just feels pretty good to be with the guys, and the mood is pretty nice right now. So yeah, it's just fun.
Really sweet to hear. I read an interview about you recently, and you were talking about the fact that self-reflection is very important in this environment as a player. So what did you learn about yourself during the break?
I mean, I guess during this break, it's mostly just realizing that we can beat the Asian teams, and that there's a lot of things that I can focus on, and I'm just really grateful that my team right now is at a spot where I don't really have to think too much about where we're going and what we're doing. It's more individual now, where we just have to get better at our own mechanics. So it's just working well together with the situation I'm in right now, where I can just focus on myself and I can rely on the guys to make the right calls. So.
And you had a great showing on the first split, so I can imagine that it will be even better in the summer. Now, facing G2 tomorrow, any first thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, it's just another team. We're going to prepare the same way, and if we get a win, that's going to be a pretty good position for us. So yeah, I'm just excited to play them. Hopefully they're good. Otherwise, it's going to be boring. So
awesome. That's the best way to see it. Thank you very much, Mithy. And we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, it's going to be a brand new Rogue lineup taking on Misfits. Stay tuned, guys.